Thank you for joining me on my podcast. So happy to have you here. I hope that you're enjoying these conscious conversations. I hope that you have picked up some gold nuggets for yourself and can definitely share the information if you feel it resonates or would be helpful to someone that you know. I know that sometimes for me, I can be listening to a podcast or a channel of sorts, and I hear a message and I think of someone that's like, wow, like I really need to share this with so-and-so, because if they heard this, I know that this would be an answer to what they're going through right now. Because sometimes our friends and our families don't want to hear it from us, and they want to hear it from someone outside of us. So anyway, I'm putting these out in hopes that I can help to change someone's life and help all of you, to continue to help all of you to step into your greatness, into the most beautiful aspects of you that can resonate from these conscious conversations. So with that, I will be sharing today's topic for our show is the worst that can happen. And so I know that for you, so many times we make decisions, we take action, we do things with that little voice in the back telling us, okay, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen if I take this, if I buy this property? What's the worst that can happen if I step into this relationship with this person? What's the worst that can happen if I bring that partner into my firm, into my business? What's the worst that can happen if I stay in this job that I can't stand, but it pays me so well, right? And so with that, I'm going to expand that today in our conversation and say that the worst that can happen already has. And why that is so important to acknowledge and to have the awareness around is because when you're living your life on what is the worst that can happen, you're not living a life of intention. You're not holding your highest frequency, right? An elevated frequency, an elevated mindset, because you're just getting by. And so the energy of getting by, when that consumes us, then we're in a job because it's a paycheck. We're in a relationship because it makes sense, because leaving this person is gonna take a lot out of you. Although you're miserable and unhappy, and so are they, because if you're unhappy, I promise you, your partner's unhappy too, but nobody's talking about this. It can also be why you stay longer than you're supposed to in relationships and friendships that you know are toxic, or you know don't benefit or elevate you in any way. This can be happening at work also, when, yes, you receive a great paycheck, but you hate yourself for being in this company, or you hate yourself for doing that kind of work because you feel that there's so much more in you, and you feel stuck or limited, right? So the whole worst that can happen is really bad. Is really, really bad, because it's already happening. If you're hearing this video today and you're hearing this conversation, there's definitely something for you to sit within yourself and have that conversation within yourself. Where in my life am I just getting by? Where in my life am I stuck? Where in my life do I feel limited or limitations, right? The ceiling that is just not allowing me to be free, or to feel free, or to explore more of what is out there for me. And so when you're recycling these thoughts and then you're settling back in, it's like, no, but this is what's working right now, and this is okay, right? That is just stating to the field of energy, that's just stating to the universe, but that's also the conversation you're having with yourself, is that you are mediocre, and that you are not worthy and deserving of having more and being more and sharing more, and that your light, right, the beautiful light of our aura, is dim. And then you're saying that's okay, right? And so that's why I am so adamant when I have these conscious conversations with people that I am working with organizations. This is one of the first topics that I step into when I'm working with companies, with businesses. And this is the conversation we're having at the boardroom, right? Because this is the energy that even the employees, and you, if you're an employee, are bringing in to, this is what you're contributing, right? This is what you are bringing to this company that is paying you well, right? Okay, so it's paying you well, but at what expense? Okay, that business is great and it's doing great. At what expense? You don't see your children. You don't have a relationship with your spouse. You can't go on vacation. You're working 70 to 90 hours a week. That's great, right? That's all beautiful, but it's not. Because that is the worst that can happen to you, is that you've lost yourself in the rat race. You've lost yourself in a toxic relationship. You've lost yourself in just getting by, right? Because you need that paycheck, because you've got to pay that mortgage, because you've got that car payment, because you've got schools for your kids that you have to pay for, right? If you hear what I'm saying, everything is have to. And there is no choice point. You've left the choice point. You forgot yourself along the way. And when people start to understand this message, so many times they just break down and start crying. And they'll tell me, Eileen, like, I don't know how or when this even happened, but you're right. I lost myself in this world that I created for myself that is so disheartening, and it's so sad, and it's so upsetting because I'm not living. And so the worst that can happen is that you've stopped living. And that is not something to be taken lightly. That is something that's to be taken very seriously, because when we are not promoting ourselves, elevating ourselves, being in a positive, high vibrational mindset, energy, doing things that fulfill us, we get sick. And that's when the autoimmune diseases start to come in. That's when the cancer cells start to do what they do. And this is all you being against yourself. This is your own self-destruction. And what's sad and what saddens me is the level of unawareness that people have, that this is happening to them because they're just following what everybody else has told them to do. And so many times when I ask my clients or people that I'm working with, what's the conversation you're having with yourself about yourself, it's never good, right? It's like, I hate my life, I hate my partner, I hate my job, I hate myself, I can't believe I placed myself in this situation. And so this worst thing that could happen has an answer, right? When you go through and you sit with yourself and you say, okay, what would really happen if I left this relationship today? What would really happen if I leave this job because I have found another job? I'm going to at least put myself out there for another job. What would happen if I no longer serve clients the way that I serve them because I hate selling cars or life insurance, and instead I want to step into finance and sell them on bank products, right? Bank instruments, so that they could invest with me. So maybe I want to become a wealth advisor, right? So this is the kind of conversation that I'm going to invite you all to have with yourself, is that the worst that can happen has already happened to you. And I know that people say it's happening for you, and I understand, and it is happening for you. However, it doesn't feel like it's happening for you yet, because you feel like you are doom and gloom and that it's happening to you. And so with that, I'm going to invite you to sit back and ask yourself, where in my life am I not feeling fulfilled? Where did all of my dreams go? Because once upon a time, you were in a place where your mind had these beautiful dreams and aspirations and goals that you had for yourself that somehow stayed in the past, hidden somewhere, because life was happening and you had to just get with the program. And so with this conversation, I'm going to continue to invite you to be inspired by yourself, with yourself, as to what are the best ways to get yourself out of the situation. Sometimes because you're not seeing it right now, sometimes because you're stuck in the situation, in the problem, you're only seeing the problematic aspect. You're not seeing beyond that. You're not seeing that leaving this person is going to help you be free to find yourself again. Because maybe being in that relationship, you've been so consumed living for them and living for what they want and what they see is correct or is the best, right? And you have shut yourself off to even having an opinion. Sometimes this happens in business, right? Where you feel like the business is stuck or it's stagnant, it hasn't evolved, it hasn't grown much more. And I promise you, if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, a founder, if your business has slowed down, it's not because of the business, it's because of you. It's because of the energy that you are recycling, right? So think about something that's being recycled. It means that it never touches anything new, anything clean, anything brand new, anything that activates enlightenment or progress or expansion. And so as you're in this energy and in this whirlwind of recycling, I'm going to invite you just to step back and step out. I'm going to also remind you that journaling or writing this on paper is going to help you break down, just like you do in business, right? Just like you have to do if you're working for an employer, right? You've got to break things down. You've got to show content. You've got to show maybe an outline. Maybe you've got to show a report. For a lot of you, maybe you have to present with a PowerPoint presentation. Get creative. What is this? Where are you stuck? Where are you not satisfied with yourself and not satisfied with your life? Because I promise you, listen, I see this every day to the point that when I work with clients and I have this conversation, immediately I've had people like we get off the call on, how to sell from the heart and not sell from the transaction, and they sell something that day. And I get a call or a text message, oh my God, Eileen, I sold something today. I can't believe it. I've been stuck. I haven't sold anything in 2 weeks. And it's just that, right? Because it's energy. Everything holds energy. Everything holds a consciousness. Your mindset, your thoughts, conscious, subconscious, unconscious thoughts, hold an energy. And you bring that with you everywhere you go. Those are your thoughts. And so if it makes sense to stay stuck, then that's the inception point. That's where it's important. I'm never going to tell you what to do. It's important for you to step in to that conversation with yourself. What has kept me stuck that has misaligned me so that I can fix it? It's a fix. It's a quick fix. Because the awareness, the moment you're aware of something, it is so much easier to fix than something that has been hidden for so long that you weren't even aware has been happening to you and for you. And so I'm going to continue to nudge. I'm not going to say push, but I'm going to say nudge. I was going to say push, but I'm going to invite you to be nudged by this conversation today if you feel that you are not fully aligned with the life of your dreams. The universe is happening. The universe is expansion. There's nothing in nature that is limited. Everything is exponential. So if you're not feeling this exponential growth, this expansion of yourself, this giddiness and excitement when you wake up every morning that, wow, I've got another day here. I've got another day to make something great happen for me. If you're ready to step into doing that, then sitting with yourself for a little bit is going to be really important. Because you're not here, none of us are here in this beautiful place we call life. None of us is here to just get by. We are all here to enjoy a fruitful life with our dreams coming to fruition. And so with that, I'm going to also share, if you're not aware, or if it's something that maybe you don't connect to, I'm going to always encourage you to look up the numerology of your numbers, right? The numbers of the day that you were born, the actual date that you were born, the day, and then when you add all the dates, the month, the day, and the 4 numbers for the year, when you add those numbers, it's going to give you a number. And when you bring it down to a single digit, it's going to give you a single digit number. And why I believe this is so important and so powerful is because the numerology, the number that you were born on, is very important to also help you understand why maybe you act a certain way, why things happen a certain way, why things get stuck a certain way. And so I'm always going to encourage, and I do this with everyone that I work with. I look up, have an idea of their astrology and their numerology, because it helps me help them align to what they're here to do, how to find their purpose, but most importantly, how to be the best version of themselves that aligns with the numbers and the astrology of the sign that they were born under. So with that, I hope this has been very helpful for all of you today. I send you so much hugs and love. I know that you have it in you to find and identify what it is that has had you stuck, that has kept you stuck this long, and that you are ready. You're ready. We're having this conversation today, right? So listen, you can close this off and just put it away for another day, month, year. But at some point, you will need to sit with yourself and find out why this part of my life is not aligned, or why it's not moving. Why is it stuck? So that you can unstuck yourself, right? That's it. So you can fix it, right? And so I'm going to leave you all with that. Thank you again for tuning in. Much love. Share with anyone that you feel could benefit from this message today. These are channeled messages. They come from a very divine place. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to share with you today. Enjoy a wonderful day, and I will see you at the next one.